Could you talk about what Argo does? So if immigration lawyers want to send their clients over, could you talk about that?
Yeah, so basically what we do in general, and I'll get more specific for what we can do for immigration lawyers. In general, we have a platform where we find clients all over the world who have different visas that they're applying for, different situations that they're in, and they can sign up. They enter their information, the language that they speak, the embassy that they're going to apply at, and then we match them up with officers that have experience in those countries and speak those languages if they need a language other than English for their consultation.
Mhm.
Um, for student visas, this is pretty straightforward. For tourist visas, well, honestly, there aren't that many being issued right now, so that's not a big part of the work we're doing. Mostly a whole lot of student visas, a lot of temporary work visas, H-1Bs, L-1s. We do have a lot of EB-3s that come through. Now, this is something that actually plays more into what the immigration attorneys might be interested in. EB-3s, E-2s, K visas, spousal visas. These are the ones where a lot of times people find us after they've already had a problem, and it's understandable. People don't expect that this is going to turn out to be a problem. People know that their relationship's legit. They know that they know themselves that they're qualified, and they just don't expect that they're going to face a government official who then is going to think that they're a fraudster and they're lying about this relationship or this job or these credentials that they're presenting. And so they come to us, and a lot of our clients, we do consultations with them and with their attorneys at the same time to go through everything that's been happening in their case. We have a couple officers who are real experts in E2s. Brazil processes a whole lot of these E2s for third country nationals that are in Brazil, and they're applying for these, Italian and European dual citizens of Brazil that apply there. Also, we have people that did them in Mexico. We have people that did them in London. And so we've got a broad swath of experience, and we consult amongst ourselves quite often to kind of trade experiences, talk shop about how the E2s were done. And like you said, E2s is one that is done completely differently depending on which post you're talking about. Some of them want you to submit your package a month beforehand, and it's going to get reviewed and vetted, and then you're going to show up and they've pretty much already gone through it and decided what they're going to do before you get to the interview. When I was in Bogota, I was doing the E2 interviews, and I didn't see that E2 submission until the afternoon when the interviews were going to occur. So I would get that on my desk, and then I'd start reviewing them, and a local staff would come up and tell me, okay, Mr. Martinez is here, go and interview him. And I might have looked at it for 10 minutes, 15
Wow.
minutes. And so it's just, and that changed while I was in Bogota. A new officer arrived who had been at a different post, and he wanted to change up the process. And so it really is just kind of like dependent on the local management, how willing they are to allow change to happen. And I will say that in a lot of ways, they are very amenable to change, because for people's annual performance reviews, you have to show that you did something. You have to show that you implemented something new, you made a difference. And so people like to implement little changes all the time,
Yeah.
which accounts for how something may have been going one way. Let's say in Paris, you've been seeing things work one way in Paris, and then all of a sudden there's a change. There's been no policy change. It's just one person's initiative to like do something new, to be able to put some laurels on their accomplishments.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen this when like one embassy was great with answering emails, and all of a sudden they stop, and then they just really formalize. They have to go through whole hurdles to get them. And then another embassy all of a sudden never respond. All of a sudden it's super helpful that I email to fix stuff up. I'm like, well, that's a pretty rapid change I wasn't expecting. So, officers move around, they bring these stuff with them. So it's, as you said at the beginning, like it's the same because they always move around, but at the same time it's different. It's just,
Mhm.
it's console is just its own beast, its own world, and it's good to have you guys to kind of fill us in on what's going on. I love having former consular officers on the show because it kind of pulls back the curtain a little bit to see what's going on here, because it's so, I think opaque is the word, or just it's hard to really see what's happening, because state is the most secretive. I mean, even foiling is difficult and communication is hard, and they have consular non-reviewability, which is, I understand why they have it. It makes sense, but it doesn't help the burn of it,
Right.
the pain of it. Sorry, I see your name, Arterburn. I put the burn in my head, but
There you go. Yeah.
when you can't communicate, you can't try to just talk with
Mhm.
them to fix things up. It's hard, but it is what it is. But most cases do happen the way they're supposed to. But there's always random ones in there.